It is the Plan C podcast here for you on a Wednesday night. I don't know when this will get churned on out, but welcome to the Plan C podcast. Introducing my lovely esteemed co-host, Cameron Stolo.
Yo, what is good, guys? How you doing, Colin?
I'm doing well. It's been a productive day. This is the last thing I think I'm going to do today in terms of productiveness. And yeah, been a good day on a day that was supposed to be a day off and got a lot of shit done and got some money. So yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. I did some inks today. Probably going to post a video later today, so that'll be the end of my day.
Inkcember.
Yup. You know the vibes.
Yeah, so if y'all haven't already, be sure to check out previous podcasts. We are also on YouTube. We are making videos. We are live streaming. Also, we could potentially be live streaming at midnight. Who knows? Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out, and we might be playing it. Well, not might be playing it. We are going to be playing it because by the time this comes out, I'm assuming we will have already played it. But anyway, look forward to that. We've got some cool other podcasts in the pipeline, like a sibling podcast coming up. We also have a really exciting podcast that I'm not going to tell you about just yet because I like to keep you on your toes. Anyway, hope y'all are doing well. Cameron, let's get to it.
So today's pod is going to be on meditation. And this is a topic that I more recently have found interesting, especially during the time of quarantine. I've personally gotten more into meditation. I more got into it probably around January of this year, and it definitely helped ease me into the isolation that ensued. But yeah, so first things first, I want to kind of give a background on meditation and a little history, nothing big. Please don't click off. But yeah, so the earliest records of meditation, I think, were found around 1500 BC, practiced in Hinduism in India, but in the 6th to 4th century was seen in Chinese Taoist practices and Buddhist practices in India. Meditation was also developed in the West over time as well, and they are not necessarily connected through movement, like in terms of it didn't go from India to China to the West. Different practices developed in different ways independently, similar to religion.
Interesting.
But meditation is thought to have started before the birth of modern civilization, because when I meant the earliest records, it's actually just like ancient hieroglyphs and stuff like that, but it's actually known to have started like a long ass time ago, like thousands of years ago. I believe it's meant, people say that it started in like hunter-gatherer tribes, and they practiced meditation and passed it down as like an oral tradition. And yeah, eventually we got to where we are now. Quick showing on what meditation can do for you. It can be used to sharpen your attention, like it can stop the mind from wandering, it can keep you focused with long-term effects, especially if you practice it habitually. Like if you do it scheduled a few times a day, if you have like a timer, maybe you want to do it 10 minutes a day, it can be very helpful over a long period of time. It can increase your like resilience to stress. And, there's actually a lot of like debate on whether meditation is like scientifically proven to be helpful for things. But most of the time it actually is scientifically proven to be helpful. Like, I got like a little blurb here that I wrote down. Like, according to neuroscience research, mindfulness practices like dampen your activity in your amygdala and increase the connections between the amygdala and prefrontal cortex.
Things in the brain.
For short. Both of these parts of the brain help us to be like less reactive to stress and to recover better from stress when we experience it. So this is why I think meditation can be like very useful today for a lot of us if you're dealing with things that are difficult, as many of us are.
The world is definitely stressful these days.
Yeah, like we definitely need something to help us bounce back. Like and meditation can benefit your mental health, similar to like exercise, diets, like in therapy. It's supposed to be used in tandem with other good habits. And meditation is a practice that's existed for thousands of years, like literally. So like while some practices of meditation may not work for you, or it may work for your friends, it may not work for you, finding like a form of meditation that works for you is like similar to finding the right therapist, though a bit less stressful and much less expensive.
Much less expensive. Yeah. So what was like the initial inciting incident that got you into meditating?
I think it was I've been meditating on and off since junior year. But in junior year, there was like a moment where I was like really stuck in like a really annoying thought loop.
Mm-hmm.
That was just making me super anxious about the future. And I realized that I didn't really have a way to turn my brain off,
No, not really. You can go to sleep, but
Yeah, like it's very difficult to stop the analysis and everything. So I just randomly kind of found a meditation video, and all of a sudden, like all the thoughts stopped, and I was like, "Oh, I'm peaceful." And then I got done what I need to get done.
Yeah, no, I think it's very helpful for just sort of being self-aware and just telling yourself things and establishing things in your head that you maybe want to accomplish. It's really good to just sort of like think about it. I think about how, sometimes even if I'm just laying down for 2 minutes, that's close the eyes, do some quick thinking, and that can be meditation for you. It doesn't have to be, someone chanting or someone going in a funny sitting position. It can be literally whatever it is to help you think.
Yeah, I mean, meditation practices are like very varied. Like if you can easily do a Google and find many, many different types, and each of them put you in a different state of mind, and they each have their different effects. So it doesn't always necessarily have to involve the things that you might stereotypically see in media. But yeah. So a question for you, Colin. What is your personal relationship with meditation?
So I probably got into meditating around March or April of this past year. And it's not even something that I would say I'm super into as much as something that sort of just happens at this point. I'm not necessarily going out of my way, but I don't know, just sometimes just staring out and thinking, even if you got your eyes open or whatever, that could be your own meditation. It's really easy to just find those certain places in life where you can have just a half a second to think. And so I sort of figured that out in the spring, and it very much helps with, just anxieties that you might have, decisions that you really don't know what to do. It helps you think through, it helps you process.
For sure.
And yeah, it can be very refreshing.
Yeah. So you actually also answered the second question I was going to ask, which is how can meditation be useful for you?
Oh, there you go.
Which, thank you for doing so. Saves me the breath.
I'm ahead of the curve, bro.
Definitely. But yeah, meditation can, like for some people, it's very hard to have like a sit down and dialogue with yourself, and in that in that instance, meditation can be very useful to really like just experience who you are for a second. But a lot of also meditations, a lot of the process for meditations is about like not thinking at all and just like entirely just thinking about your breathing and really bringing you into the moment instead of all the other things that are like bogging you down. So like when you said like a refresher, I think that's a really good way to put it, because it's like stripping away all the burdens that you've built up on yourself up to that point and then kind of restarting your mind.
Yeah, it's a different way of sort of communicating, and it's a weird thing where you're sort of just communicating with yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, yeah, for sure. And it kind of feels like when you're done meditating and you open your eyes that you're waking up again. But you're just very clear. Like, unlike, if you wake up in the morning and you're groggy because you haven't had your coffee or whatever. But like, like you wake up and you're very clear, and then you can just pick something to do and just do it.
Yep.
Another question I had for you is, do you have any I personally have, but do you have any problems with meditating consistently?
Do you mean like personally or just like problems, like fundamental problems?
Oh no, like personally. I mean both. If you have a take on both.
Well, I guess my take isn't necessarily fair. I guess it's just sort of something that is, obviously you can never truly turn your brain off and just kind of just, so sometimes it would be sort of nice to do that without falling asleep. That'd be nice. And another problem I find I have is I can definitely get distracted about what I'm thinking about. Like I'll be thinking about something specific, and for some reason something else is showing up in my mind, and it's like, wow, it's like, whoa, where did all these thoughts come from? Weird, gross,
Oh, for sure. I definitely feel you on that. Like when I first tried to meditate, and maybe for like many months, like if I'm just literally just sitting there and thinking, it's very easy to for the mind to just wander.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. That's why a lot of meditations require you to use your hands or specific motions. So you kind of focus on the motions, and while you're focusing on the motions, it distracts you from your own thoughts. And so there are a lot of meditations that you can look into. I'll name drop Dr. K from Healthy Gamer. I'll probably bring him up again, but he's the guy who definitely really got me into meditation, and you can find a lot of his meditations on YouTube. I personally found them very useful. A few of my friends have found them very useful if you need a head start. And yeah, so there's that.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, because personally I don't have sort of specific ways I meditate. Like I can listen to a guided meditation or whatever, but my meditation is more so free form, I guess, if you want to describe it like that. And I just sort of just do.
I feel you. Yeah, definitely.
So,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so it's interesting to have, potentially different ways to meditate, or learn about different ways to meditate. Because personally, I don't know about too many others.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, meditation is it's such a well-practiced thing that there's so many very, very dedicated forms that are very effective. And I found that sometimes throughout the day I'll try to meditate, especially if I'm having a particularly difficult day, I'll meditate more in between my activities. If I'm taking a break, just taking that 5 minutes, maybe even less, 3 minutes to do an exercise, and it'll just get me right back into it.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll just sort of rinse out the brain.
Yeah. For me, one of my biggest problems with keeping my meditation practice is that when you start meditating regularly, you start to feel better. And then when you start to feel better, you start to not feel like you need to meditate. And so you stop meditating and then things go back and you're like, well, what happened? I thought I was having like
you're like,
a
oh
good time.
god damn, I gotta start over.
Yeah, it's like literally what it is. So I think one of the hardest things about meditating is that you never feel the need to meditate because you just don't have that type of like, nobody has that type of self-awareness where you're like, you can see yourself kind of objectively in a moment when you're addled by your anxieties.
I got you. It'd be funny to like build the ultimate self-aware person. I wonder what that would look like.
Yeah, I just wonder I wonder if they would even like say anything just because of like how much things are going on in their head.
They would probably just be kind and very polite.
Yeah, it'd also be interesting like if they were kind because they were actually kind, or they were kind because that's what they knew they should be.
Because they were self-aware.
Yeah, because they're self-aware.
Exactly. And you would like they would never ever slip up. Never ever.
Probably be a good friend though, low key.
Hey,
key.
Probably be a person who hook you up.
For sure. Another question I had for you was are there any times that you meditate specifically, or like when does it work for you?
I find that if I am in nature and it is exceedingly beautiful or exceedingly calm, I'll just like lay out and just chill. And definitely close my eyes and do whatever. But I also, there's also times where like I'll be in nature and it's at night and I'm just staring at the stars and I'm sort of like I'm looking and I'm thinking somewhat about the stars, but I'm also just sort of just in my own head as well. Other than that, it's sort of just whatever. What about you?
Yeah, I try to meditate like when I'm on breaks. Like, because it's hard to kind of remember when to meditate. So if I'm taking a break, I'll be like, okay, I should meditate right now, just because I'm taking a break. But also like before I go on a walk or anything like that, I feel that like personally, like I usually walk with music, but if I want to like really feel refreshed after a walk, I'll definitely not use any music and meditate beforehand. And I find when you do that and you go outside, you're just like much more observant of things around you, but you're also just much more appreciative of things that you might not normally like recognize.
That's definitely true. Where I find specifically with music that happens, because hearing is just such it's such an important sense, Yeah.
No, for sure.
And it's not our most important sense. Our most important sense is probably our touch or our sight. But it's still like very, very important. We still gather so much information based on sounds, and you just take that away, or you sort of limit it with headphones. You just notice so much less.
Yeah, it's almost like being half blind in a way.
Yeah.
Like I remember I went to get like a bagel the other day, and I didn't bring my headphones, and I like meditated beforehand, and I was just like walking by like enjoying how light touches leaves or whatever some Zen bullshit. And
that's the artist in you speaking as well.
Yeah, I got like really fascinated with like the filigree in the side of buildings and like stuff like that I would normally just walk by without thinking. And now I have a specific memory of certain buildings and like what they look like, which I would never have had if I had just been like kind of,
if you were just trudging along with your music.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was also I find like when I talk to some people about meditation, especially people that like haven't really tried it or like are kind of against it for whatever reason that you'd be against meditation. But
Mm-hmm.
I find that people do have a lot of like preconceptions like about it as a practice. And I was wondering, did you have any like preconceptions about meditation before you tried it?
Yeah, definitely. So I had a relationship end pretty badly one time, and this person was pretty into meditating, and so I was definitely like in my head sort of saying, "Oh no, like somehow me learning to do that or accepting that that's a thing and that that could help is somehow negative towards me because it's something that they liked, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, obviously me, it's just me being a damn child, but I definitely was like, oh, I don't want to do some chanting, oh my God, I don't want to do this, that, and the third. But then just did it and didn't realize that what I was doing sometimes, where I was just sort of just sitting there and thinking with my eyes closed, I was like, oh, that's kind of just meditating, isn't it?
Yeah, I
So,
mean, I'm sure that's literally how like it was discovered. Like some some ancient dude just chilling in the forest, like
probably.
that was kind of nice. I mean, and then obviously it's expanded and it's grown into what it is today. But
Hmm.
like even I, when I was younger, had some sort of like preconceptions with meditation in terms of like meditating is only useful when you have problems or like if you're kind of unsound in mind, you should meditate, that type of thing. Similar to
Mm.
like people the misconceptions people have with therapy. But
Mm.
meditation like is good regardless of your mental state. It's like it's kind of like would you would you only eat well if you acknowledge that you were eating badly? Like like you like or would you rather just always have a good diet? It's that type of thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I realized that it's actually just very good at maintaining and like really keeping things in balance and not like something that could be used or that's used as like a crutch when things are hard. But
Mm.
not that it can't be used as a crutch when things are hard, but it is meant to be like a practice that you do regularly, you know, try to just focus on your breathing, find whatever meditation works for you. There are some guided meditations that people like. I personally don't do guided meditations,
You could find them on YouTube.
but yeah, you can find a lot of good meditations on YouTube.
There are
Again,
apps.
apps are great. There's some apps that can schedule your meditations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, shout out to Dr. K, Healthy Gamer GG. And with that, I would ask, what would you say to someone who doesn't believe in meditation?
I would say you probably are already meditating. You know,
Interesting.
you probably have done it many times in your life. You just don't realize it.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Um,
I
if
just
I
keep it a book.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. If I ran into someone that said they didn't believe in meditation, usually people say it's because it's spiritual and not purely scientific. I would I would probably say acknowledge your limitation of knowledge.
Mm.
Like meditation has existed so long that I think someone like our age or even older, even if you're maybe like in whatever sciences or whatever, and you think that you have some sort of grand understanding of things, like there have been people that have literally dedicated their lives and then some, you know, over generations to a practice that has been working for people forever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like when I hear people say like, I don't believe in meditation, it's like you you're more just rejecting knowledge rather than making like an educated opinion.
Yeah.
That would obviously I'm a bit more blunt and a bit more harsh as per usual, but that's probably what I would say to somebody.
No, that's logically like legit though.
I hope so.
So I think do you got anything else you would like to say before we move on? Because I have some pretty big news for you.
I have one more question, and I have some stuff to talk about after that. But
go, man.
Yeah. Question: why do you think meditation is important for people today?
Just self-awareness, purely. I think it just helps so much, and it just gives you more time to get a better perspective.
For sure. I would definitely say it helps with self-awareness and like kind of making sure that you have an accurate view of the things that are going on around you and the people around you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so before we get into the big news, I wanted to kind of just talk about why meditation is really useful during quarantine and in COVID specifically, because I think that there's a lot of reasons and a lot of things that could be holding people back during this time. There's a lot of extra unfortunate circumstances that might be stressing you out, etc. And I just kind of wanted to not like sell meditation, but kind of sell meditation, I guess. People that are maybe in a bit of a bind. But like COVID is a very stressful time where people are left in their thoughts for long periods of time. And although not everyone wants to admit it, not everyone is necessarily that great at functioning only in their own head for long periods of time. Like a lot of people rely on maybe like social media, or they'll constantly be talking to people, or they'll be constantly watching videos, etc., kind of to distract from having a conversation with yourself. And although that can be useful outside of quarantine time, now when there's so much time that you're actually just spent by yourself, it can be more detrimental to have those distractions than beneficial.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think meditation can definitely like help ease that process and really help stop harmful thought loops that you might have whenever you're no longer distracted. Other than that, like I know in quarantine it's like very hard to stay motivated, like especially if you're working at home, scheduling yourself and stuff like that can be like very difficult. And meditating regularly on breaks can definitely help you stay focused and get rid of distracting thoughts. And I think it can be like really useful when trying to form new good habits that we all are going to definitely have to need to create when adapting to this new work environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, got a few more things. It's very easy to get like anxious and depressed kind of in quarantine for sure. And even like despite my vitriolic cynicism, meditation can definitely help stave off hopelessness and anxiety and kind of just help you feel at peace with where you are, wherever you are, regardless of whether you are planning on doing something or maybe you're in the middle of doing something. It can really help you be okay with your current moment. As now it's connecting to meditation. The point of meditation is usually to be completely in the present moment. Like our culture is very focused on the future and what we should be doing in order to end up where we want to go or where people are telling us to go. There's that constant push for that. And while this is very useful for achieving things, as we are now in some of the best living conditions in history at this point, but overthinking and overanalyzing about the future can be very overwhelming.
Yes, it can.
And yeah, and can paralyze you in the present for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It just, squeezes you real tight.
for sure. Like being organized about planning is like really useful, but like taking time to center yourself in the present moment, like, and then acting when it's time to act is very important. Like it's very hard to take the first step in whatever you're trying to do if you're constantly focusing on the future, because then you're constantly solving problems that will happen in the future, but not problems that are happening right now in terms of you starting what you need to start. So so meditation can really, if it gets rid of those thoughts, and then you can take the first step. And the most important step is always the next step, regardless of where you are, because if you're not taking the next step, then you're not moving.
Yeah, and stagnation can be a real thing.
Yeah, like regardless of how many steps you're taking in the future, if you're not taking that immediate next step, then you are still technically not moving, and that will weigh on you regardless. And kind of the last thing I want to say is that quarantine is it's been tough for a lot of us, and there's a lot of really shitty things going on, but it is a really great time to know yourself better. And it's a great time for self-improvement, and meditation can be very useful in helping understand what you might want to improve on personally, and really help look objectively at yourself, as it has helped me look objectively at myself for sure, without like the easy distractions making it very easy to kind of get off track. And there are those distractions that can stop you from having that dialogue with yourself whenever things get uncomfortable. Being able to rid yourself of those and really be uncomfortable with yourself, and working through that until you are comfortable with yourself it's a very good feeling. And I think it's really going to be paramount to having a good mental health in times like these.
There you go. Said it from the man himself. Speaking of distractions, so do you know who owns Crunchyroll?
I do not.
AT&T. And AT&T just sold.
Oh, they sold it to Sony?
They sold it to Sony. And you know who Sony owns, right?
Continue.
Funimation.
Oh, are they doing a joint thing now?
I mean, two of all of those IPs, you can just have on one thing now. So I'm assuming that they're going to go in that direction.
That would be amazing, because I can't pay for Funimation and Crunchyroll.
But combined,
I would definitely do it. The one thing is that Sony is kind of big on the censorship thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So there's
Sony.
I'm not sure.
Sony, send me a PS5. Sony.
I don't want them to censor any anime that would be really good, but then get censored out of existence, or censored into just being really bad. So that is my worries, but
Any good anime coming up?
There is actually. All right, so I guess we're a little short. Cameron's anime corner at the end of this.
Tiny little corner.
Yeah.
Cameron's anime nook.
Yep. So there are a ton of great anime coming out this season. If you want to start to get into anime, there's a bunch of new seasons coming out. It's going to be great. Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin. The final season is dropping, which is going to be huge. First episode is already out if you haven't seen it.
Did you see it?
I have not seen it, because I like to wait till they get a few in so I can just binge them. But I'm sure you've heard about Attack on Titan from all the stands and stuff on Twitter and Instagram, and I know some of them can be very annoying. They can be. They can be very irritating. But don't let it ruin this series for you. If you don't mind some of the grittiness, give it a try. Eren can be annoying at first, but he does end up becoming a very good character, and it is great to see his development. Another other good anime, Haikyuu, the series about volleyball. New season's coming back. I know a lot of people are like, "What? Volleyball? Why? I don't like sports anime. Why don't I watch anime? Volleyball? No. All right. This is a moment in which you need to believe in me. You need to believe in me. This is a very, very good anime. It's hype. I know many people who hate sports anime, but they all in unison love this show. Check out Haikyuu. There are a lot of seasons out. It's great action. I highly recommend it. I would give it like an 8.5 or out of 10, I would say. 9 out of 10 maybe.
There you go. You got anything else to plug before we get out of here?
What is it? ReZero. ReZero is coming back for a new season. That's the last anime I wanted to talk about. ReZero is an amazing anime. Part 2 of the next season's coming out. It is very doomer. So I'm not. So if you're not on a great mental path right now, might not be the anime you want to check out, but it is really great. If you're not, check out Dr. Stone. That's having a new season. That's a fun one, especially if you like science. Anything to plug? As I've said, I believe if you watched our previous pod, if you haven't, please do check it out. I'm curating some designs for some t-shirts. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to drop them before the new year. I mean, it'd be nice because that's when people are buying things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll drop a design or something like that. Well,
yeah. You could do a pre-order type of thing.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll talk to name dropping at snakebone_. He said he will help me kind of set up my store. So big shout outs to him helping me out with that.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hopefully we'll get some work out to the people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Make sure to follow us on Spotify and subscribe to us on Apple. Subscribe on YouTube, like on YouTube. Check out our other videos. Check out our other podcasts. Keep your eyes open for streams coming up in the near future. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys. Keep meditating, bro.
Have a good one. And as the man said, meditate, baby.
Peace.